Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 53 of the Sickcast, aka the Siblings in Cardboard podcast. I'm your host, Donnie, back from my vacation, horrific experience the last 2 months at school, and joined by my buddies / co-hosts, Noah, Thomas, and Justin, who has been a wonderful help for the last little while I've been out. Gentlemen, it is good to see you, and I am so glad to be back.
Dude, you're basically in a different world of Flesh and Blood. They burned a bunch of books.
Apparently.
Like half of the Flesh and Blood cast living legend out of Blitz.
So doing in like the pre-pod stuff, we were kind of telling him some of the interesting things that have been happening, and it's been funny seeing him double taking and just being like, "Wait, that card's been printed.
Utter
what is going on?"
I mentioned this before we started recording. I did write my article for Calling Tampa / the world premiere, and I did read a bunch of the stuff from there. But otherwise, I'm more or less completely unspoiled to this set. I don't know what's going on with the meta. I don't know what's going on with most of the Majestics. I've tried to pay attention to a little bit of the stuff that's going on with New, because that's literally the only hero I care about. But it's everybody just wants to talk about elemental stuff. Nobody's talking about Mystic, and I'm still Team Mystic. I don't know about this Team Earth and Team Lightning stuff.
The competitive scene is still very much talking about Team Mystic.
Yeah, it's a very mystical scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not Zen anymore. It's Enigma and New. Is that what I'm gathering here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Those are
as it should be.
If you don't have a game plan for Enigma, then you are probably not going to do well at a given tournament.
Okay. Well, I mean, with Zen, I did catch the bans, the Great Book Burning of 2024, as Twitter called it. I've been trying to keep up with Twitter. That's about as much as I've been able to do, is keep up with Twitter between classes and work and family, and it's just been a lot. It has been a lot for the last few weeks, and it is so good to talk to you guys again. It really, really is. I cannot wait to get out to Armory on Friday. I have not played a game of Flesh and Blood, I know for a fact, in the last month. And it has probably been closer to 6 to 7 weeks since I actually booted up Talishar or even touched my cardboard in my bag. I cannot wait, guys. I cannot wait.
Dude, so I think after the dust is settled, the book burning, the hero that got hit absolutely hardest is Prism. I think she just disappeared.
Really?
yeah.
Just gone.
Tome of Divinity was that important?
Very. And then
Yeah,
we thought
Chaos.
Kano was dead, but apparently not.
Dude, do you want me to talk about that?
No, we'll talk about it after the minute, because it's a relevant topic, because we've got a battle harden to talk about.
Yeah.
And it was relevant at the battle heart.
Zen is basically gone. Apparently he was exclusively relying on Art of War and Bonds of Ancestry to be broken in. Yeah, it makes sense.
Who would have guessed the 1-card 8
Like
and the
gone?
Terrorwhite Anthem?
Yeah, like gone.
Yeah. He's basically
Like just-
unplayed. And what's
He is
funny
like-
is most of the time I've seen him pop up in games, he's not even running Traverse the Universe anymore.
That's okay.
What?
There's a new ninja in town though, so we'll be fine down the road.
I heard about Ira.
Oh,
I heard
man.
about Ira.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
thought we were
Listen,
talking about the top
I'm-
8 Katsu, but I guess we'll get there.
What?
Dude,
Okay.
There's a lot
All
of
right,
stories
Noah.
about Katsu. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Apparently we've got a lot of funny stuff to talk about, so let's talk about the unfunny stuff, like how empty your wallet's going to be if you're just trying to get into the cards right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Okay.
unfun, because I know everybody's probably sitting there doing their team Lightning, Team Earth, Team Wizard. It matters. Or maybe just Team Runeblade. But you guys are going to be having to pay a hefty price. I won't even sugarcoat it. We're going to jump right in. Grasp of the Arknight. I've talked about this card a million times. Back when it was like $50, $40, criminally low. Some might even call it criminal level larceny, how low you could have got it for. Right now, for the low price of, and I'm not joking, $147 for a rainbow foil Grasp of the Arknight. I
You're
want you to know,
joking.
I'm not joking.
No.
I sold out in minutes when I had him up there, and I had him at like 115, and they just went through the moon. And I
Yes.
had a feeling.
Wow.
I saw them at 99, and I said, "Uh-oh!" I said, "It's one of those cards. It's gone. It's to the moon,
Okay.
to the absolute moon."
They are the best gloves.
One of the best ever printed, in my opinion.
Every single room blade is playing them. and is like their primary or like in the sideboard.
It's 3 block free rune chance.
Oh,
Was there not a
it's battle
Blood
worn.
gloves that came out of Rosetta?
Nope, we got a headpiece that came out of Rosetta.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know about that headpiece. I
Yeah.
did read that headpiece. That headpiece is busted.
Mhm.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Okay. Sorry.
It's alright, we
so-
like it.
And then everybody's probably thinking, well, come on, no, it can't be that bad, right? Because there's the white border version, right? Like, and I'm like, yeah, there was the white border version at like $70. It's now bought out completely. They're $120 a piece. So whether you want it white border, or whether you want it foil,
Runeblade
you're
gang.
spending one. And, but we talked about this. Arcane Rising is an old set. It's very old. And so you're either rolling the dice through a history pack with a million other terrible cards and legendaries. Well, maybe not all terrible, but legendaries, or you're rolling the dice through Arcane Rising, which is just not in print. And so it's a very, very sought after card. I told you this was going to happen with these older cards. These Crucible cards, these Arcane Rising cards, you got to jump on them quick. Old cards are hard to find. It's why Fates and Sinks, even though they're everywhere, are just so expensive. They're like $2 commons. So if you missed the grass train, it feels rough. It really does. It's not the only thing that's kind of shot up. Obviously, there's some meta cards we're going to talk about. I just wanted to mention a few of the cards from the Majestics from the current set to kind of give you guys an idea. Most of the Marvels are about $150 range, so they feel pretty good. I think with the amount of product that's been sold, you could probably haggle people down to about 120 for the Marvels. So they're going to be relatively cheap, which is a good thing and maybe not necessarily a bad thing, but there's a lot of product floating around. So some of these prices are subject to change. But Felling of the Crown is at $21 right now. That's the Earth Attack action card, the big decomposed one that rips a card from your hand.
Uninteractively rips a card from your hand.
What?
Let's put it
Yeah,
there.
uninteractively. Do you not know what the card does? Oh, we can read it for the.
I'm telling you, I don't know what most of these
Felling
cards
of
do.
the
If it's a
Crown-
Majestic, assume I don't
Yes.
know it, okay?
Felling of the Crown from Rosetta is a Earth action, blocks 3, costs 3 with 4 attack, and it says that there are 4 more Earth cards in your banished zone. This gets +4, so it's a 3 for 8. It has Decompose. When this attacks, you may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. If you do, each hero puts a card from their hand on the bottom of their deck. You don't really get to choose. It just happens.
It's a 3
Okay,
for 8
so
for the
it
pummel
is-
with the pummel attached to it.
It's free.
Wow.
Maybe
Okay.
not as good as a pummel because it goes to the bottom, but it's close enough to being pummeled. And
I
you
mean,
will have to
wow.
respect it. We're going to get to that. Don't worry.
Felling of the
Signal.
Crown is way
Watch
better.
it.
The only thing better than Felling of the Crown is pummeling a Felling of the Crown, which is really fun.
All right, you said it was an Earth Runeblade or just Earth?
It's
Earth
just
action.
Earth.
We played
Yeah,
in Verdance too.
Action. Okay, so Verdance gets it
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
Verdance throws hands.
Okay.
Starvo
Yeah.
gets it too.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if that's a real thing, but we'll see.
Verdus gets to throw some big attacks. Most of the wizards are feel good. We're going to talk about this card a little bit later, but Plow Under is another Earth action Majestic. You're going to like this one too, Donnie. It's a yellow, pitches for 2, costs 2, blocks 3. If there are 4 more Earth cards in your banish zone, this gets +4, so it's at a 2 base, so it's a 2 for 6. When this
Okay,
attacks,
so
you
far.
may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. If you do, each hero, and let me say that again, each hero, telling you, puts a card from their arsenal on the bottom of their deck.
You're stressing
So
because
it
of
doesn't-
UPF interactions, right?
100%.
Yeah,
I'm
each
stressing
hero.
each hero
It's very
because
each
of
hero.
UPF interaction. This has nothing to do with no Plow Unders from Down Under, but we're going to talk about it later. I
So
was
good.
watching it live, and it was
It's
killing
so
me.
good.
But we're going to get there.
Okay.
But that's $20. It's probably one of those 2 cards are like the quintessential Majestics for Earth. They're big heavy hitters. They have the decomposed text. They're absolutely baseline 3 ofs. One's Arsenal hate, one's hand hate. You couldn't get anything better from those 2 cards.
Okay.
They
Sounds
will
good.
probably scale down. Again, there's a lot of product out there.
Oh, they're
Don-
going. Those will drop eventually.
Yes.
A little bit. A little bit.
A little bit. I'm imagining they might settle out at 15, but if Earth Heroes
Pretty
stay popular, I think they'll stick around 20.
I'm just crying because I literally ordered my set of rainbow foils because I'm falling out every hero, And literally within 15 minutes of me ordering them, the like content creator kits came out, and they're getting cold foil ones. And I'm just so sad. I was like, I could have just waited and bought those.
That's telling me that. I gotta go find those. Content creator kits, huh? Okay.
Yeah. So
Be in people's DMs.
LSS, in case you're wondering, our emails are open.
Really? They are. They are.
I mean, I check it every day.
You got any extra
check the one
Kasai Conquer
associated
sitting
with
around
this every
too?
day.
Just
So, yeah,
I need a couple.
Just send me a $5,000 card, please. I'd appreciate it.
look.
Yeah,
I'll put it.
sure.
I'll put it on a payment plan. I need
Anyways.
to place that. All right. So the next card is Gone in a Flash. This card is pretty essential for Lightning. Lightning action, 0 cost, 4 attack, blocks 3, red, pitches for 1. When this attacks, the next time you play an instant card, this chain link, you may return this to its owner's hand. That's right. You can bounce a 0 for 4 back to your hand, and you're thinking, well, why would you want to do that? Well, probably because you're going to play it like 9 more times in the turn, or at least a couple more times.
Okay.
Um,
Hold on,
it's,
Donnie looks confused, so let's clarify the interaction. When you play
Mhm.
the instant, you could bounce the card back to your hand. So you play in the resolution step, and then the last known information says that the card still has go again, and the card still does its damage.
If the card does not naturally have go again, but you're a lightning hero, so you can give it go
Right.
again, like 18 million ways to Sunday.
Or you could break your lightning boots that say every time you play an instant, the instant has go again, so it refunds you an action point.
That's right. There's lightning spellbound creepers.
Well, it's like it's a little different than that.
They're
not-
better creepers in my opinion.
They are definitely not better than creepers. They are
You know-
just different.
Creepers break themselves.
They have
Okay.
AB1. They might be better.
It is nice that they have AB1, but like Runeblade does not have a problem finding ways to fit AB into their kit.
Wow,
Speaking
that's-
of ways to give go again. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But the cards, I know these are all insane. This is a blue lightning attack action. By the way, Gone. I don't know if I said Gone was $18.50. Pretty reasonable, I think, at that. So most Majestics that are pretty prime and playing right now are about $20. This is current funnel from Rosetta. It's a 0 cost blue. Pitches 3, cost 0, has 2 attack, 3 block. Beautiful card. Man, this card's just super good. It says if the last action card you played this turn was lightning, this and the next action card you play this turn, get go again. Pretty good.
I
See
don't
how
know.
we're going to give that?
People who play lightning decks have a extreme love-hate relationship with this card. It's
Is it
like
because it comes in under rate?
no, you like your starter is electrostatic discharge. You have this dead blue in your hand. Like
It makes Sizzle playable.
Yep,
And-
I think like in fact that unless you specifically need to run electrostatic discharge, you have to go buy the first strike deck so you can play Sizzle instead, just so your current funnels are consistent.
They always have that one card,
Also,
right?
it only attacks for 2.
It does. I was going to say it is a little underrated.
But-
It's
Current funnel, E-Strike draw a card, 2 cards 7 on weird numbers. It's
current
good.
funnels snatch, really good.
you know
It is
it's
really good.
It's funny you say that. We'll actually just swing that card over there then. E-Strike has shot up quite a
absolutely.
bit, actually.
Almost every deck is running it.
Yeah, all 4 of the new heroes run E-Strike.
So E-Strike is
Can
now
run
a
E-Strike.
$45 card.
Nice.
That is right. $45 base. Feels good. It's been stuck at 30 for a long time. It was due a little spike. We all knew it was coming. These heroes use it
It's one of the
very
best
well.
cards in the game. So.
And it is one of the most adaptable, best cards. One of the still the best 2-card hands. Super versatile. Just can't get enough of it.
The Earth heroes really like to dig. The Lightning heroes really like to fix their hand and can abuse Embodiment of Lightning.
E-Strike draw a card.
Yep. So
The best mode on the card.
These are all pretty much just meta cards. So E-Strike was a meta card. This next card actually surprised me a lot. It had a huge resurgence. We're going to call it like a comeback. Balance of Justice tanked. Okay, tanked once the books were banned. Like nobody's drawing cards anymore. Well, apparently Balance of Justice is back and actually worth more than it was before it was gone.
really?
What?
So, crazily enough, it's back to $146 a Balance of Justice right now for Rainbow Foil, and it was down as low as $75 after the ban.
Wow.
Couldn't tell you why.
I mean, what?
I don't know. Maybe people
who's
are
drawing
mind
cards right now?
Maybe people are mind warping.
I mean, the Lightning heroes draw cards, and so, but they don't always draw two.
But we know who's drawing cards.
KO draws cards.
There's
really
another
good.
deck that's
Blood
probably
Rush,
drawing cards. We won't talk about it just yet. We're trying to hush those secrets up. But,
No,
but there's cards.
Even
There's
Dash
decks.
IO, I don't think people
There's
are.
decks drawing cards out there.
I don't think people are paying that much for a BOJ because Dash IO might be good. I don't know. That's weird.
No.
And Dash
It is
IO
weird,
at the
but
moment does not always draw 2 cards a turn either. She very consistently draws 1, but not 2.
Again, I couldn't tell you if it's the interaction with Mind Warp or other shenanigans, but I saw it and I couldn't believe it. It's back up and selling at 146. Warmongers is hot. This is another meta card I keep talking about. It's almost at $80 a card. Told you it was going to get that high. If I could see it getting to 90.
Low.
Does that feel
low?
Yeah, doesn't it feel a little low? It's probably going to get
Yeah.
CNC level. So
Yeah,
get your
that card
Warmongers.
is really good right now. This is the best that card's ever been.
You don't want to sleep on that card in a ProQuest meta. You wake up tomorrow after your first week of ProQuest and everybody goes, boy, I wish I had Warmongers. Straight up to 100. You can guarantee it.
It could be really solid in Aurora too, right? Because you can kind of like swing into them, and if they block a lot, you can just throw your sword and then make an embodiment lightning. If they don't block at all, you just end your turn with Warmongers, right?
Oh, it's been great in Aurora because like sometimes you just need more blues. You need block 3s. Like some of the decks that you have issues with are non-attack action based. Like good card. We like the card.
Yeah, it's a good card. You can fit it in.
All right, so Aurora is a rune blade that doesn't care about attacks.
She has a few, but
She
could
can
always
work
just,
around it.
She could always just put it into Arsenal, or she could pitch it and move on. Like so.
So yeah, most Aurora builds are somewhere between 6 and 9 non-attack actions in the deck at any one time. Some of them are up to 12 at one point, but usually you have these lightning instants that kind of replace the non-attack action thing. So instead of it being non-attacks and attacks as your ratio, it's like lightning and payoffs as your ratio.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
Acilia
So what
hates
exactly
it,
is
though.
Warmongers targeting then?
Wizards.
Yeah, it does.
Wizards.
It does mess up Acilia.
Okay, yeah.
'Cause,
It
yeah,
messes
Acilia-
up Ranger still. It messes up. It makes you can stall Vincet, right?
Mhm.
Viscerai
Yeah,
is still a thing, so it shuts off Viscerai. Who else is it good against? It's going to be
Oh,
very good against Dash IO.
How good is Viscerai? I mean, I know that he got a lot of support in the set, but I don't know, like, I really don't know what the meta positions are.
he's
I have no
too
idea what a tiered list
flexible.
would look like or whatever.
He's too flexible to give a straight answer to that right now. There's like 4 Viscerai decks that are all B plus-ish range, A minus-ish range, but I haven't figured any one of them out to just be better than the rest. So I don't know the answer to that question yet, but he's good. He's like, if you bring him to a tournament, it's not embarrassing. Like he's a real hero that you can bring.
He's
And
very
the fact-
real. I think all the Rune Blades are.
You don't know if
Yes.
you're going to sit down across from an aggro Viscerai, a turtle burst Viscerai, or a fatigue Viscerai, and all 3 of them have completely different game plans, just like he did in the past. Except
Mhm.
all
I'm
the
sorry,
game
did you
plans are
say-
more effective.
Did you say fatigue Viscerai?
Oh,
Yeah,
we'll get
where he
there.
just builds up a whole bunch of rune chants and just fatigues you out.
OTK. Okay.
Well, it's
Okay.
it's more that you're letting your opponent run out of threats while you're just blocking really efficiently. But your way of closing out the game, instead of progressive value by a weapon, it's progressive value you build up on the board. Like OTK is what it's doing, but it's just doing it a little bit different than other fatigue decks where they just throw a weapon occasionally, right? So
Right.
that's how I look at it.
Huh.
You know, you're just generating rune chant, generating rune chant, generating rune chant.
The beat says.
Okay.
Weakest Linker completely bought out. -3. Told you that card was going to go up. It's almost $70 a card. Yeah, that's right. And there's only 3 rainbow foils on there. Whose rainbow foils are those? I wonder. They're mine.
Dude, you throw a weakest link against Aurora, sometimes she just cries. Because she cannot block it, and if she has an electrostatic discharge in her hand or a channel lightning valley, she can't like have any tricks. She's just gotta play it to get it out of her hand to keep you from drawing a card.
Yeah, You throw it at Acilio, he asks himself all of his life questions and tries to figure out, like, how did this happen to me? He wants to, like, he's just going home. He's, like, mad, calling mom, just being like, yeah, it's good.
It's a weakest link.
If only I didn't get disrupted, I was going to play, like, Central Brilliance, like, 13 times.
Yep.
So those are, like, the big meta cards I've been talking about. Warmongers, weakest link, you got to have them. We'll put Enlightened Strike in there. You probably need to have that if you're playing New Heroes. And then we're coming to the crown and jewel of all cards that everybody thought was so bad. No, why would you buy that many copies? Well. Poison the Well's been selling like hotcakes for me at a whopping $15 a card. And it is $15 a card.
Insane.
That's correct. I told you guys it was going to get there. I sold my foils for 20. It's not crazy.
So
Welcome to
stupid.
the world where that card, when I read it, I said, this is it. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. One day it's going to be good. Tell you out there, anybody trying to play the market.
Which was still the bigger swing. Because we talked about this last week, but Donnie, Sergeant Aethertide went from 22 cents to $12.
Wow.
I think it's
Marvel's
still
back
up
up
there
over
too.
100.
Oh yeah, Marvel's clear at 100 right now for Sergeant Aethertide. It's it's maybe like at 90.
What was the 3-month low for Poison the Well?
Where's Poison the Well?
That's why I think it's a really interesting stat. Like, a Sergeant Aethertide sold in a 3-month period for 22 cents at some point, and it surged up to $12 because of the way it interacts with Verdants.
The lowest that I see for 3 months, it says about $3.
Oh,
Okay.
go back to 6 month. Look at the 6 month low. I got you.
Yeah. We got to go back far.
What
When
was
it
the
was
6 month
burst out. We're getting
Let
there.
him do it. This is his card.
Down to a dollar back in June.
Okay.
99 cents, 51 cents,
I have a
25 cents.
Yeah.
So not quite as extreme as
Wow.
Sergeant Aethertide, but really close.
I mean,
Man.
they're both pretty degenerate in terms of how they've swung back up. But Sergeant Aethertide is at $8 right now for the Majestic, which I think is crazy. And I just want to end off on, I talked about this last week. I still think this card's actually cracked. And apparently people watch the podcast or they're just starting to catch on it. But we had a 200% increase on Exude Confidence. Aha, told you it was coming. And so Exude Confidence is now a $3 Majestic, and it was well under $1. And so Exude Confidence is that cool little crafty play where you can't activate defense reactions or instants unless you block it with a card with higher attack.
Yeah.
Take that, instant users.
So
Not
I've
on
seen
my
that
watch.
I've seen that card go into decks and start coming back out. I think
Oh,
that
well.
card will probably go down in price again.
It's okay.
It's an
We're
okay.
We'll have
cooking.
its moment.
We're
We're
cooking right now.
We're in the
Everybody's
kitchen.
cooking.
We're good. We're in the kitchen.
All right.
Everybody's doing it. Buy your mech stuff, by the way. That's all I'm
Yes.
going to say. Do it quick.
Apparently.
Do
For
it
some
fast.
reason, just
For
some reason, buy
some
mech
crazy reason. I couldn't tell you why, but if you don't have it yet, I feel bad. Those twin
So-
drives. Oh God, they're
Okay,
going to get so
just
high.
because Poison the Well now costs you like what a Majestic should cost does not mean it's good.
It's good.
Like, okay, let's get to it.
what happened this
So,
weekend though?
like the topic of discussion this week in Flesh and Blood is Count Your Blessings. A 2-cost instant says gain life X plus 3 in red, where X is equal to the number of Count Your Blessings in your discard pile. It does not block. It is an instant. The card, in my opinion, is honestly garbage. And if it's going to be good, it's going to be good because there are archetypes out there that just desperately needed a life gain card. Doesn't matter how bad it was. But it is really funny that you now have cards in the game that gain 5, 6, 7, 8 life in a single instance, because that does make Poison the Well one of the highest value blues that you could play in your deck.
You play their last count their blessings. They needed this to survive lethal. They're doing Poison the Well red, gain 11. 11? Yeah, 11. Right? Because you have 8 in the yard plus 3. Yeah, I did math. I did it. And then you poison that well, and it's a 22-point swing on one card.
At instant speed.
At instant speed.
Can't
And
handle
that's why we bought it.
it. So
In fact,
Premium.
but you don't even need to go that far. To be fair, you could get to about turn 8 or 9. You can arsenal poison the well, and you probably win the game. Because
as long as they don't
just
chain count your blessing to count your blessings.
No,
So-
that doesn't matter. Like they used their whole hand to play that out.
That's
Just
true.
zap them for one of them and then kill them. You know what I usually do to count your blessing stacks? I kill them because they don't block. They're trying to gain life instead and ramp those count your blessings up.
okay, so some of us here do not just play aggro decks for the record.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I
Hey.
said, there's only one hero that I care about. How does New do into the counter blessing?
Okay.
I mean, we
Shreds
talked a
them.
little bit before, but I
New-
want to hear it again.
She-
now.
New-
New
absolutely
does really,
shreds
really
them.
well. The reason why is that it's counting them in the graveyard. So Passover, I think that's the name of the one that banishes a card from their graveyard, right? You used to use it to pick your new targets. Now you just use it to get rid of a counter blessing. So that nukes out about 8 healing depending on when you get it, right?
Yep.
You also have your new ultimate sacred art, whatever the hell those things are called. Banish 2
Undercurrent
cards. Yeah, Undercurrent Desire. Banish 2. That's 2 more counter blessings out of the graveyard. And then she can run a 1 of Gravekeeping to just like recur with Codex if the counter blessings get out of control for any reason at all. And just keep making those cards suck. Like over and over and over again. She might be the most hateful deck to counter blessings decks.
That makes me feel so good.
Yeah,
So,
like
you say I'm only
That
an
makes me feel
aggro player.
so good.
no, not
But
always.
I
I'm
play
just giving you a hard time.
Riptide, who is like kind of a hybrid in the middle. And if Count Your Blessings is viable in the meta, I think Riptide is dog water, unless he's literally putting 3 poison the wells in his deck.
I think where counter blessings looks good is in 2 spots. One in 3 spots. One is an unrefined meta where everybody is still trying to figure out their own decks. So like week 1 of any format, like this deck could be really good because no one, like the next set comes out, no one's thinking about counter blessings anymore. We figured out it sucked a while ago. And then now we're back and everybody's trying new stuff. And guess what? It's time to counter blessings. So that's a spot where it can be good. Another spot where I think it's actually good in general is against like kind of the mid-rangey decks that want to play like 8 to 12-ish turns. Like if your deck wants to play in that range and end the game in 8 to 12 turns, it kind of has a problem with counter blessings in my opinion, because your damage output isn't high enough to stop them from getting to their like higher life gain. And if it is a good counter blessings deck, I'm not talking about like counter blessings Acilio. That's a bad deck. Don't play that deck. But like if you're playing like a good counter blessings deck where like it has a recursive weapon that fits the cost curve or whatever, right? Like, and it has like things to do while it's counting its blessings, and you're trying to kill in that 8 to 12 turn range and it's able to get to its inevitability, that's where I think it's a good card for a good deck, right?
Like for example, like a mid-range deck already struggles into Enigma. If she's running 9 Count Your Blessings, I think it's like a 0% win rate.
Yes, like
because Enigma's not going to attack you. She's going to set up board, gain some life, and pass. You're going to go, man, these 2 cards that I need to block with to get proper value out of my hand, they're just here.
And if she can block well enough while she's building stuff up, keep just like 1 or 2 good ward things around and just run you
blinked
over.
out for a second.
Yeah, sorry. Just saying, like, if she's just like building a little bit of a ward state while also counting her blessings, like it's just a nightmare. So that is something you could be doing. Anybody who has a 1-cost weapon is like a funny home for counter blessings because it's a 2-cost card.
Right. Good curve.
Yeah.
So that's
Just
like
easy to come
Dawn
down.
Blade, Reaping Blade, Plasma Pistol.
Kodachis.
Yeah. There is a Kodachi blessings deck and it's really funny.
God,
It
of
made
course
me laugh.
there is. It's
I
Kodachi,
wonder if-
Kodachi, count your blessings, right? That's the primo combo. Like,
I'm poking you
Kodachi, it's
and I'm
Kodachi
soaking
Kodachi
it up.
blessing CNC. Thank you very much. But
that's actually really good.
yeah,
Especially in IRA, because that CNC's coming for 7.
That's what I'm thinking.
the Kodachi
mean,
came in for 2 at that point. But
Well, you just
Yeah, I know
what about
what
drink
you
them under
mean.
the table? Count your blessings. So
I haven't
good.
seen that one yet.
Betsy,
But that's
count
actually
your blessings, right?
You're holding the pummel and they're like, they say no blocks because they're prepared for the pummel and you just count your blessings instead.
Yeah. That's,
Wait a minute.
No.
We're talking about Betsy like she's relevant. Is Betsy relevant?
No, she's
she's
not,
getting
but she's
there.
much better.
Her new specialization is quite good. So her new specialization is another 4-cost 8, and it says wager. If you win the wager, you draw a card, and your opponent and the person who loses the wager discards a card.
So Betsy, in theory, could discard a card, and you would get to draw a card if you win the wager.
In theory. In
theory.
reality, you're getting pummeled.
Mhm.
Unless she pummels you after you commit to it, and then you discard 2 cards.
Oh, that's gross.
Oh, I
It
know.
is kind of gross, but
She needs it.
I like it.
Guardian's bad, so whatever.
Really bad.
So I think it's good there. And the other spot where I think that Count Your Blessings is good is in decks that ask you a really tough question in sideboarding before you sit down, right? So this was a classic with Oldhim, was that when you sat down across from an Oldhim and you're just like shuffling up, you're at a new event, you don't know the person, you don't know if it's a fatigue Oldhim or if it's like a beat your face in Frostfang pummel Oldhim, right? And I, as an Oldhim player, I gained a lot of equity there. Everybody boarded in for fatigue, and I used to just bash people's brains in with Oldhim. Like, that was my thing. That was my jam. I think this kind of presents the same thing. So if your deck has a version where it can be very aggressive, right? Like a Dawnblade Dory, like normal Dawnblade Dory is a pretty, like, can be a pretty aggressive deck, right? And then you randomly just turn into this like fatigue deck. So you have all these sink belows in your deck now to prepare for Dory, and suddenly you're getting your blessings counted and you don't know like what you're doing in that sense. That's where I think it can be good.
Yeah, like
It has,
her
like, a
only
gotcha.
reprise cards in the whole deck are 3 Glint Quicksilvers, and that's just because they're blue block 3s.
And they get the sword go again. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. That would be really rough. I mean, Dawnblade is not the worst fatigue weapon, but I guess in a Count Your Blessings scenario-
Dawnblade is one of the best fatigue weapons. What are you talking about? It's actually really strong.
It's
the only
3.
reason I say this because the only way Dory usually ends up fatiguing is like Decimator, but I think Decimator's kind of
No,
bad
that's
right
not.
now.
That's not true. That's not true. I've seen some good Dawnblade Dory fatigues because the concept of being able to pitch a red and pitch stack reds into your stack
Well,
is
still
much
swinging
easier
3.
to
No.
do. Yeah, and still swing
Mhm.
3. So you
I
block
agree.
3 cards, you pitch a red, and set up your pitch stack.
Oh,
So,
but
it's
Josh,
good.
if you're listening to this, don't do it. We don't need to count your blessings.
We're not-
No,
we're not-
that's not what he was doing. And he was doing VR last night. It was not anything like that. He was playing very, very typical
Listen.
Dory, and he was having a ball, and he spoke in a Yu-Gi-Oh voice for like 2 hours straight. It was hilarious.
Did
That's
he win?
incredible.
What are you talking about?
Check the card guy
Josh
streams.
Law's card guy stream. He did it in VR versus Taylor Crawford
In
for
V-
2 hours straight, and somehow kept the Yu-Gi-Oh voice going for 2 hours.
I gotta go watch that.
That sounds
this.
awesome.
That sounds amazing.
It's good
That sounds
content.
awesome.
Make
I'm
sure
glad
you
he's on
take a little bit of
traditional
Pepto
Dawnblade,
before
though.
you watch, because it is disorienting because the camera shake.
So that's why I think like Count Your Blessings is okay. Like, I don't think this is going to be a meta defining card. I think it is going to be an annoying card. I think it's going to be a gotcha card. I don't like it existing, but I don't think it's like tier 0 format warping. We all need to be prepared for like Count Your Blessings being the best deck.
So Charles Dunn's gonna win it at Worlds, right? With the fatigue deck with Count Your Blessings is what you're telling.
I mean, maybe.
Good.
Okay,
Right.
So
like,
we have seen it
that's what you're
perform.
telling, because like that's what's happening, right?
We have
Like,
already seen it perform because at Battle Hardened Sydney, Declan, or as a lot of people in the card guys circle probably know, Donklin, actually got top 8 on Count Your Blessings Florian. And it looked
Mhm.
pretty good because, you do exactly those things, right? You say, okay, you're expecting to need to block. Instead, I'm just going to make a couple rune chants, gain some life. Pass. Or, oh, you didn't know? I've got Felling the Crown too. Be ready. 3 for 8. Also, I'm going to gain some life and move on.
wait,
so,
that was Donklin?
Yeah, that was Donklin.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah, the plow under from down under was
You're
Donklin.
kidding me? It's Donk. Oh, I just got to go.
Okay,
Okay. Oh my.
So for
God.
people who didn't watch Battle Hardened, about midway through the game, it was Aurora versus
There's Aurora versus
Florian, and Donklin plays Plow Under, which says that you have to bottom both arsenals. He has a Germinate in Arsenal. He plays the Plow Under and does not bottom his Germinate.
That plow under did not go down under.
It's
We don't
the
like-
first weekend.
Anyway, so it goes several turns. And what's funny is he eventually does play the Germinate. But if you look at all the play lines and everything, I think he had almost a guaranteed win, even without it. So we were all joking that despite accidentally cheating for 3 or 4 turns straight, he would have probably picked up the win anyway. But it is really funny, like all the memes that came up from it, like what happens when you European pummel an Australian plow.
I can't believe I get 2 now to work with. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That wasn't the only. There was some like on-camera shenanigans that were happening too. Like it was literally round 1, a Riptide versus Thomas Dowling on Dash.io, and the Riptide for the first 3 or 4 turns has a bolt and shot face up in his arsenal, and goes activate Death Dealer, card face down, draw a card. You can't do that. Death Dealer definitely says your arsenal has to be empty.
There was a lot of stuff happening at that event with judging.
Tom Dowling definitely lost that game because of the extra 2 or 3 cards that the Riptide picked up while keeping a bolt and shot face up in arsenal.
Judging is hard. I don't envy them.
I don't either. But
I don't either, but I think judges should be attentive to these stream games, and they should definitely be attentive to the top 8 games.
100%. There should
The
be
fact
somebody
that
at
the
least on the
Plowender
mark for
wasn't
that.
caught immediately just blows my mind.
I agree, but there was a lot going on with judges at that event, and
Yeah, Twitter has not been happy with judge staff.
Yeah, well, the
It's-
other one's quite a sore topic as well, and
just
we won't get it.
being a
we
judge
won't
is
get
tough.
into
I can't
that.
comment because I wasn't there. I can only say what I've seen,
Yeah.
and discourses in general negative
Yeah,
about the judging at that event as a whole. As audience members, it looks really bad in a top 8 game for a serious rules infraction to not get caught by the judge immediately. Right?
Whether it has implications or not,
I'm convinced Donklin didn't do it on purpose. He might have realized later, and he's not going to call a judge on himself and stuff. But like, and then they actually did address it. They did address it because it did get brought up in chat, and eventually judge walks up and they go, "Well, it's been like 3 or 4 turns. Nothing to do about it now." So
it was a very wide topic too. They were both playing very quick because it was a fatigue deck, but I don't think they realized it's untimed. At least the Aurora was playing really, really fast, like really quickly, and I was kind of wondering what the extreme pace was. But it's untimed. You know what I mean? So I feel like this was another example of like needing to take a little bit more time. I mean, there's going to be those people that say it's on both players, which I think to a degree accountability goes both ways of like reading the cards and like slowing the game state down enough to know, oh, my opponent's doing X. Okay, I'm that's kosher. But take it easy, guys. It's top 8. It's untimed. I mean, nobody has to Brody it for like an hour and 40 minutes, but like you do have to. I'm sorry, Brody.
We can have some expectation on our judges.
But
we can have some expectation on our judges too, because they're not volunteers. They're paid,
and we can. But I'm just like, take a deep breath. I know he was playing so fast, and I'm thinking, what clock are you racing? You got plenty of time.
It's
and
lightning
so,
effect.
But it's also nerves, and you're on the stream. I can get it. Get me out of here. I don't know. I don't like playing on stream sometimes either. It gets me anxious. So you gotta take your time though. You gotta read these cards. You gotta know that every interaction is working as intended, and slow it down if you need to. Ask for clarification at the end of the day. But it was tough. It was tough. Whether it altered the course of the game or not, it was still tough to watch.
So, who do you think was in the finals, Donnie, of Battle Hardened Sydney?
You won't guess it.
Based on what you guys are saying, it sounds like Aurora and let's see who else is relevant. No,
Brother, it was a Kano mirror.
Rosetta.
It was a Kano version.
What?
Yeah.
What?
But Kano's
It
gone,
was a
right?
Kano mirror. Wait a minute, Kano's dead.
No,
Didn't
no,
they
no.
just burn all his books?
It was
No.
4 a.m, and the Kanos won
Yep.
both their semis, and I literally said, I'm going to bed. And I jumped out of Discord and went straight to sleep. I could watch this nonsense tomorrow. Both the Kano players were really good players.
Justin.
They were actually both really fun to watch on stream because they
They're
were
both
They're
on the
also
same team.
teammates.
Yeah,
they're
They're literally
teammates?
they're
That's
testing
why that
partners.
game was so fun. Like, that game was really fun to watch because you just
Their deck
legitimately
lists
saw
are
two
3
players.
cards different.
Okay, I have heard nothing but doom and gloom from on Discord and everything since. How did this happen?
All right, do you want me to go through this?
You're the Kano expert. I don't know what Kano
Okay,
does. I
so-
know
You're
he
the
does
wizard guy
wizard
here.
stuff.
I mean,
All right, so
help me understand.
This isn't Harry Potter.
What happened?
I'm
Open
out.
the Floodgates is a very dumb card. It's in red, 2 costs, 3 damage, and if it surges, which means if it deals more damage than its base, it draws 2 cards, which is just like a heinous. Yeah. It's a heinously dumb card, and it's a common, so you get it in a full cycle of red, yellow, blue. So,
Okay, seems good.
how Kano works now. That card, because they banned all of our books. Before they banned our books, we weren't building the deck this way, and since they banned the books, we have changed our deck. It is now a Floodgates deck. That's just the deck. So what you do now is you play a bunch of potions because it's very expensive to play. You need to guarantee that you hit your blues, all that kind of stuff. So you play 3 energy potions like you always did. You play 3 deja vu potions. You used to play 1 to 2, but now you max that card out because it is absolutely insane. You block for a while until you get 1 to 2 potions out. And then you wait for Wildfire plus Floodgates. Not Wildfire plus Blazing, Wildfire plus Floodgates. Because you're going to draw again, and because you're playing 9 copies, and you're playing Gaze the Ages, and you're playing Cindering Foresight, and you're playing all these ways to opt and look and manipulate the top of your deck, you're just going to 5-spell somebody until you find the Blazing or a second Flare or a Wildfire or something. Like, it's the deck now. I don't enjoy the deck anymore. They found a way to make Kano. The combo turn itself is very fun. We've been joking and saying it's very jazz. That, like, it's not like the lines are very non-linear. It depends on what you have for setup. That's very, very fun. Blocking out until I find 2 potions and a Wildfire in Arsenal is not fun gameplay. It is very boring.
It's very linear.
It is very linear, but you can nuke anybody from 42. And that's really strong. Yeah, except Assassin. Assassin has some very hateful arm pieces and leg pieces that are mean. But yeah, you can nuke just about anybody else from like 42. You can do it through Oasis. You can do it through a lot of things. Well, you need a little more setup to get to the Oasis, but like you can do it a lot, and it's very, very powerful. And then the decks that you can't play that into because of reasons like Enigma, you just had this big spell board package and you just like chip them to death. And then you have like a little small like stack at the bottom of your deck. So Kano is very strong still.
Which is
the
what we
basic
saw.
answer.
We saw a Kano versus Enigma matchup, and that's exactly how it went.
Yeah.
The Kano just
also the
chipped
new
them down, chip until they had enough to combo while they had no board.
The new Fabled
Okay,
is also really, really good in Kano. It just says amp 1 when you pitch it.
Oh, it's so good.
That's
And
The blue gem with amp 1.
Yeah, and now there's a bunch of like rags lines where like you're using your hat to pitch it multiple times in one turn. So you get like 3 or 4 free amp on your Wildfire, and it's just like
That's pretty good.
yeah, it's actually pretty good. But
Okay.
so that's what's going on with Kano. I think the deck did really, really well because it is week 1, and kind of how we talked about Count Your Blessings. Everybody took out their Oasis and their spell void. Nobody had Spellfray gloves. I didn't see that all weekend, and all that kind of stuff. But Kano is still a strong deck. Full stop.
Mhm.
Okay, we just had 2 new wizards join the meta, and everybody took out their.
But they're
That makes
weird.
You had to
They're
replace
weird
it with
wizards.
AB. Yeah, they're muscle mages. Like my joke with Acilio while you've been off the podcast is I just like Sharpie out the wizard line, close my eyes, and just pretend he's just only a lightning hero. Because he plays 12 total spells. And Verdance sometimes does arcane. She thinks about it.
So,
And then it's-
you know how in a rune blade you want this like balance of non-attack actions and attacks. Acilio is you want this balance of non-attack actions, attacks, and instants, and you balance that around, and then every once in a while you play like 12 cards in a turn, activate Volzar, and then zap somebody.
Yeah. So you get to do the wizard thing once or twice, but it's not like every turn.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
Kano's
Cool.
the only
I
one
mean-
that plays like what we think of wizards as playing like, right? Verdance plays a lot more similar to Icelander, except like you go for the combo-y weird potion turn thing at the end with a bunch of life.
Yeah. She has like one turn that feels like a wizard, and that's her kill turn, and that's about it. Everything else feels like you're playing Diet Guardian.
By the way, healing potions are played. She puts out healing potions, and on her combo turn, she goes, break healing potion, break healing potion, break healing potion. Play like a Sigil of Solace. Play Rampant Growth. Play break Headpiece. Get Rampant Growth back. Play Rampant Growth again. So Rampant Growth says get Amp X, where X is equal to the amount of life you've gained this turn. Then you shoot with Sergeant Aethertide. Sergeant Aethertide says deal 1+1 arcane damage, and then get increased arcane damage equal to the amount of damage this deals. And then you play a spell. So you basically double up on the amp off the rampant growth.
You try to get Aethertide to like 20 ish. You can get a little lower, a little higher. And then they can only stop 3 of it, so you're amp 17, and then you just play your spell. So you have basically like 34 damage coming through.
No,
After being muscle mommy for for most of the
Right.
game.
Well,
With
yes.
some life gain too. And some decent block.
we'll see.
Wow.
People
I think
need to like get
she's
the
okay.
refined. I think she's only okay. And
Yeah.
by the way, I think this is probably the flattest meta I've seen so far.
Yes.
Maybe it'll peak out,
Heavy.
but it might even be flatter than heavy, right? Because KO was so strong.
Worlds will have some decks that are definitely higher than the rest. Between now and then, there are probably going to be a few decks that seem pretty flat. I think PQ season is going to be insanely flat, like crazy flat.
I look at almost every hero, and I think this hero is actually playable.
Yes.
But it's going to be a different kind of a wide meta than the heavy, where people are bringing this because it's still, I don't still think this is a value centric type.
No.
No. Dynamo-esque, I'm trading, I'm having a good time. This is unfair combo setup.
This meta is so frustrating to me in 2 directions, because there's this really, really, really sick, awesome and fun mid-range meta that is going on, where you have like Verdance, and you have Vincent and Viserai and Florian and New, and all these heroes just like interacting with each other in fun 6 to 12 turn games. And they are awesome. Like, they had some of the coolest interactive Flesh and Blood. And then you have Enigma and Count Your Blessings.
Right.
And like those kind of decks just existing. And it's very frustrating that those are there whenever you have like all these cool heroes that could be doing the thing. And then you just have like Psycho Aggro, but like Psycho Aggro always exists, so who cares? But like those 2 existing and just being like this like over-looming thing on the format is so frustrating for me right now.
Wait, aren't you an Enigma gamer too?
I like her, but it's not like my favorite deck. I'm not playing her because I have 4 new toys and I'm playing with them only.
That's okay. Dash.io flattens Enigma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Truly flattens.
Like,
yeah.
she can run Vambraces of Determination basically for free and always has the 1 resource. And so every attack that's coming through with a boom grenade attached to it, they're like, oh, I have to overblock this by 1 every time.
Mm-hmm. And you come in for a lot of force.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Enigma getting beaten up, that makes me happy because
Oh, she's still the best deck in the format at the moment.
She is.
Oh.
Yeah. She's up there.
She's really
She's still
good.
still
She's
widely
really
played.
good.
Big shares.
Vincent kind of poo-poos on her a little bit, I think. But I don't know of any other hero that really, really targets her other than Vincent.
The issue for me is that Enigma is like, I'm using the Oldhim analogy a lot today, but it works. She feels very Oldhim-y in the regards of like, if she wants to win a matchup, she will. If she wants to beat Vincent, she'll play enough blues and enough life gain and enough, like, she'll take a bunch of the ward out and just play the block 3s and all that kind of stuff to where she can win. But like, it's at the cost of other matchups. So I don't know if she will.
There is a lot of different ways that these decks can be played. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's like you sit across from Viserai, same thing, 4 different decks. Sit across from Florian,
Yes.
almost 3 to 4 different decks because Florian's going to play mid-rangey. Florian can play a little fatigue. He can do count your play. Like there's a lot of variance, and nobody's established like the cookie cutter. But even when you do, then you still have to wonder, well, is this the one? Because there's always one that's, that sneaks through. I mean, you're going to sit across from any deck and go, well, I hope it's not this variation. And then it's going to be that variation because like that's just kind of how card games work. And so it's an open meta, but open so far as different variances of different heroes more so than...
I just think it's an undiscovered meta. We can't say it's open until we see kind of what the competitive field does look like. But I think at the moment, if you're like a person who likes cooking and deck building, this is like the
a good time.
Best set that's been released in a long time. Like this is probably the best set since I started playing around Dynasty. Like it's just, I look at all these heroes and I think all of these heroes are cookable. Like the only ones that I wouldn't want to sit down and cook with are like Fi, Katsu, and Bravo. So kind of like some of the older heroes. But everyone else, I think even Zen is still fine. Like there might be a fun Tiger list that no one's found out yet.
Yeah, like Zen's fine. He's still good.
I'm pumped for Ira. There's lots of stuff out there.
Ira's
Plus, there's this cool hero called Dorinthia out there that I've been waiting to try. So it'll be fun to see.
I think Ira's good versus Dash.io too. Man, there's nothing more frustrating than like getting hit with a Command and Conquer and then an Erase Face and then a Weakest Link and then another Erase Face.
She's gonna run all of that stuff, but the flick flacks are gonna be good too. But it's gonna be a hard press. I mean, Ira is the value deck, but in a weird way.
She is the fatigue deck, from my understanding. I've never played Ira like competitively, but everything I've heard about Ira is that she was the best fatigue deck in the game.
Well,
like as far as Blitz is concerned.
I think that was because of Drone of Brutality, which is not legal. Because she got carried in her last season because of abusing Drone of Brutality. So
she's gonna be another one of those like 8 to 12 turn decks, which is good. I love 8 to 12 turn decks. They're great decks.
Yeah, that's good flesh and blood.
Yeah, that's where you want to be.
My problem with Ira is like her hero power is really good, and she has access to some super high value cards like Flick Flack and Take the Tempo. But her hero power was good in her time. KO has like the same hero power, but he has more explosiveness and better cards and a better armor suite.
Yes. Yes, she's going to be exactly fine.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. She'll be good, but I don't know if she'll be like oppressive. I think she'll just be a good deck.
I do say I really hate Zephyr Needle for 3. That is so annoying.
Oh, Zephyr Needle's going to be here for 3. We talked about this. You got to get the reverse hand Zephyr Needle. It's the one that everybody wants.
So, but this meta's been sweet, and the drafting this format's been sweet. Loved it. We did that last night at the Armory. It was so much fun. Like all of it's been great. Just have a plan for counter blessings with your deck. If you can't go fast enough and just run it over, or you don't have some hilariously big large combo, you probably need to look at Poison the Well. But
no way.
It's
It's a pretty good card.
It is a one of in my Vin set, despite also having Reaping Blade.
Here we go.
It's more of I just want to do it, right? I just want someone to try to gain like 6 life, and then I kill them with a blue instant.
Yeah. That's what you want.
The Easter egg on Talishar.
Oh yeah,
it was
have you seen that?
Showed that the other night, right?
Someone poisoned the water
That was so
hole.
freaking cool.
Oh, there's also one for Mind Warp. When you Mind Warp someone and it hits and makes them lose their hand, it says their mind has been warped. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of them.
Oh, that's freaking cool.
Did
someone poison the water hole? That
is just a little poison vial with the green text.
It's so good.
Yeah,
that is so good.
It's so good.
That combat log is hilarious, by the way. If you actually read through all of it, because it's like it shows them playing the count your blessings, then the poison the well, and then they lost.
It's very fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did they update Talishar enough to keep it playable? I thought it wasn't going to be updated.
I think that was a rumor. Talishar is like fully updated. Everything works except for the things
everything's in.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's still old things here and there that
had me all sorts of concern. I wasn't going to log on to Talishar.
The way they did meld cards is actually quite elegant. Like they just kind of squished the art and kept the card the same size.
It looks good. Ish. Well, as good as a free simulator will, but
They
it
don't bug
looks
out.
good.
So
Yeah, they're great.
Gotta get on there.
Shout out to the Talishar guys.
Yeah,
they're
big
great.
shout out, guys.
They're always great.
We need a good place to be able to just sling some games and throw some silly stuff around.
Have we missed anything?
That
I think-
Katsu. You were talking about Katsu. What did he do?
Oh,
He's top 8.
he was in top 8. I think that was
Well-
mainly pilot skill, because I did watch the game and he was a very skilled player.
He was very skilled, and he let 3 opponents forget how breaking scales work.
When you
Okay.
forget how breaking
mean-
scales works, that's a easy game to
But that's like-
capitalize on.
That's the ninja thing, right? Is ninja is like you give your opponent their own noose to hang themselves with, right? Like you
Mhm.
let them punish themselves. And that's exactly what he did. He was good.
Yep, he played.
Good on him.
I think he played 9 whelming gust waves and 3 underwhelming gust waves, and he played a lot of Be Like Waters and Surging Strikes, and just
Mhm.
kept asking the opponents questions while chipping with Kodachis.
Seems good.
That's Katsu.
Seems
Seems like good Katsu.
Seems like a go wide when you can, but good value on your turns. Just blocking here, getting good value where you can. And Kodachis are just probably some of the best weapons in the game.
I don't know. I think
I
about
was
Ninja
whelmed.
and Bonds of Ancestry is gone. My brain cannot compute what the hell I would even do with a deck that doesn't have Bonds of Ancestry in it.
They just need a different combo line or a different way of like attaching 2 combos together. Because there's like some older combo lines, but just nobody explores them. They're just not as good on paper.
I think they could just ban Art of War, honestly, but I'm not unhappy to see the card gone either. So
I'm happy to see Bond's gone. I'm sick of that card. But
I never played Katsu without it, so I have no standard of comparison. I played Fi up until Outsiders released, and then I switched over to Katsu, and played Katsu exclusively for a long time. But I never played it without bonds, so I don't know what a deck without bonds even looks like.
There will be an uprising. And so I want you guys to understand something. If you think Fi is real, well, he's not real right now, but he will be real eventually.
will he finally
they
get some
printed all-
shoes?
Probably. He'll probably get
can
some
we
really
get
neat
five?
shoes.
Can we get 1 expansion slot card? 1.
Oh yeah,
they're-
you might
they're
have
getting a
missed
whole
this,
set.
Donnie, but they printed another dust.
It's
in
because
Rosetta.
they're reprinting Dromai. There's no secret. It's coming back as a dust centric. They're keeping the original dragons. Don't worry about it. The people have been buying them up on
They're gonna
on-
keep her balanced by making her put a whole bunch of bad cards in her deck.
yeah. There's going to be a drawback with the dust. They would not have printed this otherwise.
Okay, so was there another buyout on Marvel Phoenix Flames? Did somebody try to go in hard on
Not
Fi?
this time. No,
not
not
yet.
this time.
Not yet.
you
Not
let
yet.
Yeah,
yourself
you just
get
have
burned
Lupine Fiasco
twice.
just crying.
Not yet. But there will be another uprising, I promise, and it will bring
Oh,
Fi
yeah.
back up into talks.
We got to do our ice
mean,
set first.
How
No,
long
they
has it
can
been
just slip
since we
them
were
in.
in Volcor?
No, it's
I
been
mean,
a while.
when did that?
Before Dynasty?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah, it was
before Dynasty.
It was Uprising then Dynasty, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so we've
Mhm.
had quite a few sets, and so it's around.
Outsiders? Uprising Outsiders Dynasty?
No,
No, it was
Mm-mm.
Dynasty then
Outsiders.
Outsiders.
Because I started right after
Yeah.
Dynasty.
Outsiders was my first
And
pre-release.
Dynasty was the new set when I started.
Same.
What set did Diplo come out in?
Which
Dust
one's
Till Dawn.
Or Mongeese was Dust Till Dawn.
Dust
Oh,
Till Dawn?
I'm getting those two confused now. Okay, I'm too old.
Yeah. There's
So
been a lot of sets since then.
the first true test of the classic constructed meta is going to be this weekend at Calling Leon. So good luck to those competitors. I'm excited to see a full set of 15 rounds of CC
Mhm.
and what we're actually going to see in some of these lists that are
That'd
going
be
to
good
boil
stuff.
to the top, because in callings it's like the consistent decks are the ones that make it to top 8 because there's just so many rounds, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be really exciting to see where that goes. So I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I'm also stoked that it's not on the opposite side of the world, so I don't have to stay up till 4 a.m. to watch it.
It was kind of fun. I was up
Where's
anyway.
Leon? Where's Leon?
It's Europe, I
What
don't know
part?
where.
Yeah,
What
it's,
country? Europe.
my guess is France, but I don't want to sound too dumb.
Yeah, I'm leaving it alone.
I mean, I just asked where it's at, so
I am.
But it'll be a good time.
Looking it up.
A lot of Europeans have come up with some very interesting ideas in the past, and I'm excited to see what they do.
That's right. They have.
I was right.
European scene is
France.
awesome.
Yes.
It is France?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless it involves cards
sounded
to the graveyard, and it's a little shaky. A little
And
shaky.
then didn't you say the Battle Hardened is Living Legend?
There's some LL event that weekend, right?
I'm looking. Battle Hardened tournament structure. Wait, where is it?
Is it LL?
Eligibility, rules enforcement, competitive, venue, event, player cap 384. Am I missing
It
it?
doesn't say.
It actually doesn't say what format it is.
Someone was telling me it's LL. It might be wrong, but I believe I heard that there was an LL event this weekend.
God, I hope that ends up on camera, which I don't think it will because the calling will take up that space. But
You'll just hear about it. You'll see those percentages, and we'll know
You'll
what's going
just
to
see
happen.
70. You'll just see 75% wizards.
yeah,
and we're not going
top
to say which
16
ones.
or top 32 are gonna all be Verdants and maybe
Kano
Ocilio
and
and Kano.
Cilio and
Yeah.
yeah.
If the top 8 is all Verdances, we know where it's going.
All right. I think that about wraps us up for the week. Anyone got anything else to say?
Not yet.
I'm glad I'm back.
Yeah,
Welcome
glad
back.
to have you back.
Glad to have you back, by the way, Donnie. It's been fantastic. This is good. This is fun. I like it. We got to swing the 4 every once in a while. Even if Justin floats away for a little bit, we'll have to pull him back for another
Yeah.
fun 4 stack.
I'll be gone for a bit, but then
Yeah.
I'll come back at some point.
All right, let's do some plugs.
I was getting ready to say.
Noah, where can people find you?
You can find me opening packs on our channel now, back doing shorts. Finished opening up all 3 of those judge packs. They're really fun. So we got 2 Teklos, 1 drone. It was a good time. If I would have pulled all 3 Teklos, I probably would have jumped around and just screamed because I mean, what are the odds of 3 Teklos? I thought I was actually getting cheated. I was gonna go tell MinMax like you guys rigged these packs. I wanted 3 sinks, I got 3 Teklas, like I want a refund. But it was fun. So you can find me doing that as well as at BigMaxFab on Twitter and twitch.tv/BigMax.
Justin?
You can find me. Oh, geez, I can never remember it. I think my
It's
Twitter
there.
is J_EVS5. Yeah, it's whatever's underneath me. And then my Discord, if you see me around, it's Jebzo5.
Donnie?
And I am Draco Hominis 87 everywhere social media is sold. I also write several different article series. The next couple that I'm going to be writing is going to be UPF brews and probably going to focus more on the Rosetta heroes. So I may need to tap some help on those as I brew up some UPF decks, but we'll figure that out. Otherwise, look me up on Twitter or Discord in the Cult of New. I mean, it's not as active as it was when I first built it, but you know, it's still there. Still there. Go check it out.
All right, and you can find me at What the System Fab on Twitter or just What the System anywhere else on Discord. So
That it?
yeah, that's
Good?
it. Take us out of here.
All right.
That's pretty
Thanks
good.
for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed catching up with us this week. And if you did, subscribe or follow depending on where you found us to catch us again next time. Until then, take care of yourselves and remember, we are all siblings in cardboard.
We are, and as siblings, let me tell you what this card says. This plow under, it says each hero. I promise you, it says each hero. Unless you get pummeled and then he plow unders you, then you can have a mutual gentleman's agreement to just neither do either effect, because then it cancels each other out. It's fine. You want to cheat in unison. But no. Take care. Discard your cards. Sink them.